Welcome back to the Learn English Daily podcast. I'm Marcus.
And I'm Chris. This is your daily space to grow your English through real, meaningful conversations about real-life topics.
And today's topic is one that touches almost everyone, even if people don't always talk about it directly.
Yes, today we are talking about self-worth, what it actually means, why it is so easy to build it in the wrong place, and how to start rebuilding it in a healthier way.
This is a B2 level episode, so the language will be a little richer than our beginner episodes, but we will keep everything clear and natural.
Exactly. And as always, if you don't catch every single word, that is completely fine. Just stay with us, listen for the meaning, and let your English grow naturally as you follow along.
Later in the episode, we will also have our word tour section, where we stop and explain some of the most useful words and expressions from today's conversation.
And we have something practical for you today as well. A full PDF transcript of this episode is available in the description, along with grammar, vocabulary, and comprehension quizzes to help you keep practicing after you listen.
So if you enjoy learning English through honest conversations like this one, please like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and become part of the Learn English Daily community.
And before we jump in, we would love to hear from you. What affects your self-worth the most? Work, relationships, appearance, or something else entirely? Leave your answer in the comments. We read every single one.
All right, let's begin.
So Marcus, I think a good place to start is this. Why does approval feel so powerful in the first place? Because almost everyone I know, myself included, has felt that pull at some point.
Right, and I think the honest answer is that approval feels good. Not just nice, but genuinely comforting. When someone praises you, agrees with you, chooses you, or smiles at you, something inside you relaxes. Your nervous system essentially says, "We are safe."
Yes, exactly. And that reaction is not a character flaw. It is deeply human. We are social creatures. We evolved in groups where being accepted by the group actually meant survival.
So, the instinct itself is not the problem. The problem starts when approval becomes something you cannot function without.
When it stops being a nice addition and starts feeling like a necessity.
Precisely. And once that happens, you start organizing your behavior around it. You start softening your words, adjusting your opinions, staying quiet when you want to speak, and speaking when you would rather stay quiet, all to manage how other people see you.
And the exhausting part is that it never really works long term. You get a moment of relief, someone approves, someone smiles, someone says that was great, and it feels wonderful for a while. But then the effect fades, and you need another one.
Which is exactly why it starts to feel addictive, because it is working on the same emotional logic as any short-term relief. It calms the discomfort temporarily, but it does not solve the underlying thing.
And the underlying thing is usually this. You do not fully believe you are enough on your own. So you keep looking outside for confirmation.
That is a very precise way to put it, Chris. And I think a lot of people recognize that feeling even if they have never said it out loud.
I certainly recognized it in myself. My version showed up mostly at work, actually. There was a period where I was constantly checking whether my contributions were being noticed. Not because I was insecure about my skills exactly, but because I had quietly tied my sense of value to whether other people acknowledged those skills.
So, the skill itself was not the issue. It was what the acknowledgement represented.
Exactly. Being recognized felt like proof that I mattered. And when the recognition was slow, or when someone else got the credit, it felt personal in a way it probably should not have.
I went through something similar, though mine looked a little different. Mine showed up more in social situations. I used to leave certain gatherings feeling genuinely drained, and for a long time, I told myself it was just because I am more introverted.
But it was not that?
Not entirely. Eventually, I realized I was doing something very specific in those situations. I was monitoring myself constantly. How did that come across? Was that comment too much? Did I seem interesting enough? It was less like being at a social event and more like running a continuous self-evaluation in the background.
And that kind of mental monitoring is exhausting because you are never fully present. You are always half in the conversation and half watching yourself have the conversation.
Exactly. And what I noticed later was that underneath all of that monitoring was a very simple fear, the fear of being found ordinary.
Which connects directly to self-worth, or rather, to what happens when self-worth is missing.
Right? So let's talk about what self-worth actually is, because I think there is a lot of confusion around the word.
Yes, and the confusion often comes from mixing it up with confidence. They sound similar, they are actually quite different.
So let's take confidence first. Confidence is about your relationship with your abilities. It is the sense that you can do something. I can handle this presentation. I can have this conversation. I can learn this skill.
And confidence is genuinely useful, but it is also tied to performance, which means it can go up and it can go down based on results.
Right. A good outcome builds confidence. A poor outcome can shake it. And that is fine, because that is how performance-based feedback is supposed to work.
But self-worth operates differently. Self-worth is not about what you can do, it is about how you see your value as a person, independent of what you do.
And that distinction matters enormously, because confidence says, I think I can do this. Self-worth says, even if I cannot do this, or even if I do this badly, I am still a person of value.
And that is a much quieter kind of strength. It does not announce itself the way confidence sometimes does. It is more like a foundation that holds you up when things go wrong.
Which means someone can appear very confident, very polished, very capable on the outside, and still have very fragile self-worth underneath.
Because their internal sense of value is still depending on the performance being good. The moment the performance slips, so does their sense of worth.
And that fragility often stays invisible for a long time because the person looks fine, they function well, they succeed, but inside, they are still waiting for the next result to tell them whether they are okay.
And I think that is why so many people reach for confidence-building advice when what they actually need is something deeper. Not more confidence in what they can do, but more stability in how they see themselves, regardless of what they do.
Exactly. And building that kind of stability is deliberate work. And when we say deliberate, we mean intentional, conscious, not something that just happens to you on a good day.
It grows through practice, through noticing unhealthy patterns, through changing the way you speak to yourself, through showing up for yourself consistently, even in small ways.
So self-worth is not a feeling. It is not a mood. It is more like a skill. And like any skill, it can be built, but it requires specific habits.
And before we talk about the habits that help build it, let's talk about the habits that quietly damage it. Because I think naming those first is important.
Agreed. And these habits are worth paying attention to because they often look quite reasonable from the outside.
Habit number 1, people-pleasing. And by that we mean the consistent pattern of prioritizing other people's comfort above your own honesty.
Saying yes when you mean no. Staying quiet when you have something important to say. Smoothing things over even when something is genuinely not fine.
And the thing about people-pleasing is that it often starts from a good place. You want to be kind, you want to keep the peace, you want to make things easier for everyone.
But when it becomes a default, when it feels almost obligatory, meaning required, expected, like you have no real choice, it starts teaching you something damaging.
It teaches you that your needs and your honesty are less important than other people's reactions.
And you repeat that lesson enough times, and your self-worth starts absorbing it.
Habit number 2, over-identifying with what you do. This is the one where your value gets tied to your output, your productivity, your usefulness, your results, your title, your income.
And this one is particularly common because our culture strongly rewards it. Working hard is good. Being productive is good. Being useful is good. Those things are genuinely positive.
But when your worth lives there, when you need those things to feel that you deserve to exist comfortably, any threat to the work becomes a threat to the self.
Uncertainty feels personal. Failure feels catastrophic. And rest starts to feel like something you have to earn rather than something you simply need.
Habit number 3, letting disrespect go too far. This one is quieter, but just as damaging.
Yes. When self-worth is low, it is very common to let people get away with things they should not get away with. And if someone gets away with something, it means they do something wrong or unfair and face no real consequence for it.
A comment that crosses a line. A pattern of being taken for granted. Behavior that chips away at your dignity. And you stay quiet, not because it is fine, but because losing the relationship feels scarier than losing your peace.
And that trade-off takes a toll on you over time. And when something takes a toll on you, it means it slowly drains your energy or confidence or sense of self. not always dramatically, but steadily.
Because every time you ignore your own discomfort, a part of you registers it. And that part starts wondering whether your discomfort matters at all.
Habit number 4, constant self-monitoring and self-doubt. Always checking yourself after conversations, always replaying moments, always wondering, was that too much? Did I say the wrong thing? Did they think less of me? Should I have stayed quieter?
And that kind of constant second guessing, meaning doubting your own words and choices after the moment has passed, is incredibly draining. Because you are never able to simply be somewhere. You are always also reviewing whether you were there correctly.
And all 4 of these habits have one thing in common,
They all train you to look outside yourself for permission to feel okay.
which means your sense of stability is never really yours. It lives in other people's reactions. And reactions change. People change. Circumstances change.
So your peace is always at the mercy of something you cannot control.
Which brings us to the other side of this. What actually helps rebuild self-worth?
And these habits are less dramatic than the damaging ones. They do not feel like breakthroughs. They feel small and quiet at first, but they are genuinely powerful.
Habit number 1, keep small promises to yourself. This one sounds simple, and it is, but it is also the foundation of something very important, which is self-trust.
If you say you will stop working at a certain hour, stop. If you say you will take a break this weekend, take it. If you say you will not respond to messages after 10 at night, hold that boundary.
And if you carry through on those promises, meaning if you actually follow them through to completion instead of abandoning them halfway, something quietly shifts.
You start to become reliable to yourself. And that reliability is the beginning of self-trust.
Because self-trust is not built in grand moments. It is built in the small, ordinary moments where you do what you said you would do, even when it would be easier not to.
And every time you carry through, you send yourself a very simple message: I matter enough to be listened to.
Habit number 2, stop over-explaining your decisions. This one is subtle, but very revealing.
Because when we over-explain, we are usually trying to manage someone else's reaction before it happens. We are preemptively seeking approval, making our decisions sound acceptable enough that no one will disapprove.
And the habit of over-explaining teaches you that your decisions need justification to be valid, that they are not enough on their own.
Whereas when you start making decisions and simply stating them clearly and calmly, without lengthy apologies or explanations, you are practicing something different.
You are practicing the belief that your choices are yours to make, and that you do not need permission to make them.
Habit number 3, let discomfort happen without treating it like danger. And this one requires a real mental shift.
Because discomfort is uncomfortable, obviously. But discomfort is not the same as danger. And many people respond to emotional discomfort as though it is a crisis.
Someone is disappointed in you. Uncomfortable. Someone misunderstands you. Uncomfortable. Someone reacts differently than you hoped. Uncomfortable.
And the immediate instinct is to fix it, to smooth it over, to explain, to apologize, to do whatever makes the discomfort go away.
But the healthier response is often to stay steady, to let the moment breathe, to remind yourself that you can survive someone's disappointment without it meaning something terrible about your value.
That is a genuine skill, and it takes practice. But it is one of the most important things you can develop because it means your peace stops depending on everyone around you being pleased.
Habit number 4, speak to yourself with more dignity. And by this, we do not mean positive affirmations that feel hollow or forced.
We mean something more practical, shifting the inner voice from criticism to genuine curiosity.
Less, what is wrong with me? And more, okay, what happened there and what do I need right now?
Less, why am I always like this? And more, that was hard. What would actually help me in this moment?
Because self-worth grows not in the moments when everything goes well. It grows in the way you respond to yourself when things go badly.
When you fail at something, when you feel awkward, when you say the wrong thing, when you disappoint someone, do you abandon yourself in that moment? Or do you stay on your own side?
Because staying on your own side does not mean pretending you were right when you were wrong. It means treating yourself with the same basic respect you would offer someone you care about.
And when you start doing that consistently, something real begins to shift, because you are no longer waiting for the world to tell you that you are okay. You are starting to build that assurance from inside.
And that is ultimately what healthy self-worth looks like. not the absence of caring what people think, not some perfect state where nothing touches you.
Just something steadier inside, a foundation that holds even when the results are poor, even when someone is disappointed, even when you are not at your best.
And when that foundation starts to form, something else changes too. You start to notice that you are setting clearer limits with people. Not aggressively, just more honestly.
And some people around you may be taken aback by that. And if someone is taken aback, it means they feel genuinely surprised, perhaps a little shocked by something they did not expect.
Because they were used to the older version of you, the one who always accommodated, the one who was always available, always understanding, always flexible.
And the newer version, the one with a stronger internal foundation, may feel different to them. Not unkind, but clearer.
And that clarity, over time, actually builds better relationships. Because the relationships you maintain start to be ones where you are genuinely valued, not ones where you are simply convenient.
So, to bring this together, simply, self-worth is not built by ensuring that everyone approves of you.
It is built by staying connected to yourself even when they do not, especially when someone is disappointed, especially when you fail a little, especially when you are not performing at your best.
Because if your worth only feels stable on good days, it is not yet rooted deeply enough.
But when you can stay on your own side in the difficult moments too, that changes something fundamental about how you move through daily life.
You stop living as though every conversation is a test, every silence is a judgment, every reaction is a verdict on your value.
And you start living like someone who already knows, at least most of the time, that they are worth taking seriously.
Which is a much calmer and much more sustainable way to exist.
All right, let's move into our word tour now, a careful walk through some of the most useful words and expressions from today's conversation.
These are words that will help your English feel more natural, more precise, and more expressive in real conversations.
Let's begin. The first expression is take a toll on. If something takes a toll on you, it slowly has a harmful or draining effect on your energy, your emotions, or your well-being over time. Not always suddenly, often gradually. For example, constantly needing approval can take a toll on your peace of mind. Or, the pressure of always being available eventually took a toll on her confidence. Repeat after us. Take a toll on. Take a toll on.
The next expression is second-guess yourself. If you second-guess yourself, you start doubting your own words, choices, or actions after something has already happened. For example, he always second-guesses himself after speaking in meetings. Or, she sent the message and then immediately started second-guessing herself. Repeat. Second-guess yourself. Second-guess yourself.
Next, we have fall back on. If you fall back on something, you depend on it when things feel uncertain or difficult. It is a pattern you return to for comfort or stability. For example, when she feels insecure, she tends to fall back on other people's approval. Or, some people fall back on being busy because it makes them feel valuable. Repeat. Fall back on, fall back on.
The next word is deliberate. If something is deliberate, it is done intentionally and consciously, not by accident. For example, building self-worth takes deliberate inner work. Or, she made a deliberate choice to stop over-explaining her decisions. Repeat. Deliberate. Deliberate.
Next, we have obligatory. If something feels obligatory, it feels required or expected, like you have no real choice but to do it. For example, for some people, saying yes to every request starts to feel obligatory, or the smile felt obligatory, not genuine. Repeat. Obligatory, obligatory.
The next expression is carry through. If you carry through on something, you follow it all the way to completion instead of giving up or abandoning it halfway. For example, she started to trust herself more when she began to carry through on small promises. Or, it is not enough to make a plan, you have to carry through. Repeat, carry through, carry through.
Next, get away with something. If someone gets away with something, they do something wrong or unfair and face no real consequence for it. For example, when self-worth is low, you may let people get away with disrespect. Or, he kept getting away with careless behavior because no one challenged him. Repeat. Get away with something, get away with something.
The next expression is be taken aback. If you are taken aback, you feel surprised or somewhat shocked by something you did not expect. For example, Some people are taken aback when you stop accommodating everyone around you. Or, she was taken aback by how calm she felt after setting the boundary. Repeat. Be taken aback. Be taken aback.
Next, we have deep-rooted. If something is deep-rooted, it has been present for a long time and feels strongly fixed inside you. It does not shift easily. For example, his need for external validation was deep-rooted. Or, for many people, the habit of people-pleasing is deep-rooted. Repeat. Deep-rooted. Deep-rooted.
And the final expression for today. Immune to. If you are immune to something, it does not affect you or it does not affect you easily. For example, nobody is completely immune to criticism. Or, even people with strong self-worth are not always immune to self-doubt. Repeat. Immune to. Immune to.
That was a strong set of expressions today, Marcus. Very practical, very usable.
And I think that is a good place to leave it today. Self-worth is not about performing well enough that everyone approves. It is about building something inside that holds even when they do not.
And that kind of foundation does not appear overnight. It grows through small, consistent choices. Small promises kept, small limits honored, small moments of treating yourself with the respect you would offer someone else.
So, if something from today's conversation stayed with you, let it stay. No need to apply everything at once. Just one small shift at a time.
This has been the Learn English Daily Podcast. I'm Chris.
And I'm Marcus. Thank you for listening, and we will see you in the next episode.
Keep going. Your English is growing every time you show up.